intro video. Let me also double check our connections on Binance Live over here. And going to screenshot, we have over 213 people. Click on the reminders here and start live on Binance. Click one more time. Here we go. Okay, we are connected. Let's play the countdown video. Hello everyone, welcome to Ultiverse Live Show across different social media platforms, and we are on Binance Live, YouTube Live, Twitch Live, Twitter Live. We are everywhere. Thank you so much everyone for supporting us at today's live streaming session with 4 very amazing builders in the Web3 space that we are going to talk about Web3 infrastructure development in 2023 as we are entering the second half of the year, right? We definitely wanted to learn more from our guest speakers, especially from well-known projects. And first of all, we would like to invite our guest speakers to introduce themselves. We are going to follow the order from our event posters. And friends, if you have not found our event poster, please go to Dappos official Twitter handle, DAPPOS_COM, and then you will find our event poster. And don't forget to join the live streaming for a chance to win 100 USD sponsored by Dappos. We would like to have Taylor, the head of community from Dappos, to introduce yourself as well as the project to us. Thank you.
Awesome. So yeah, hello everyone. As Moonlight said, I am Taylor. I am the head of community at Dappos. So yeah, for those of you who might not be familiar with our project or would like to know more, basically, in a nutshell, Dappos is a Web3 operating protocol that makes dApps as user-friendly as Web2 or current mobile apps. So what this does is, gives everyone and anyone the ability to access and use dApps without the complicated workflow or crypto knowledge. So yeah, that's just a basic run through of our project. And happy to be here today and excited to get into the topic and hear from everyone else as well. So thanks for having me.
Thank you so much, Taylor, for the intro. And next, we're going to invite Idozie, our guest speaker from 1inch, to also introduce the 1inch Network project as well as your role as a developer relations in the project. Thank you.
Yeah, so hey guys, this is Idozie, the 1inch developer relations lead. So 1inch is a decentralized aggregator. We focus on aggregating decentralized exchanges, and we are one of the largest in terms of market cap and also in terms of volume. So anything to do with swapping tokens on EVM-based networks, we're really open to supporting, and happy to help build out the projects that are around here.
That is great, and thank you for being here. I also often read 1inch's Twitter post to learn more about a lot of information in Web3 as well. And next, we also have our next guest speaker. Let me see. We have Bowen, right, from Near, or actually Bowen. Why is there like the name Near over here next to your name? Because I know that from the poster that you are from the project called Proximity Labs, right?
Yes. Yeah, that's a good question. And so for Leah, first of all, thanks for having us. And who those of you who don't know what Near is a proof of stake sharded alternative layer 1, right? Basically one of the layer 1 blockchain in the market. It's probably have the fastest transaction finality, right? And basically Proximity, we are a spun off from the Near Foundation, Near Core, and currently have about 14 employees, and established about 1.5, almost 2 years now, and with the focus on building, get on the ground, taking the burden from the NEAR Foundation, but acting as the NEAR Foundation, but focused on the DeFi market and more general Web3 initiatives. And yeah, we stay with the community and working and building with the community.
I see. Thank you for all the detailed information and explaining with us. And we are also looking forward to learn more from you as well. Next, we have the head of partnership from Mental, Genius, right? Wow, Mental is a super popular project. That's recently a lot of my friends also, talk to me about this project. So definitely today we'd like to hear from you. And would you like to introduce yourself, your role in the project, as well as your project to the audience? So far we have over 1,500 views. Thank you.
Thank you for the introduction. Yeah, absolutely thrilled to be here. My name is Ignis Uranus. I'm the public liaison of Mental, of course, like also some partnerships, some comms here and there. We all have very sort of like fluid and flexible roles. So Mental is one of the largest DAO there is. It was rebranded from the previously known as BitDAO. So the mission of Mental is the mass adoption of token-governed technologies. Our first major product is Mental Network. It's a Ethereum L2. It's modular. It's EVM compatible. And the mainnet is just around the corner. We've been in testnet phase since January, and it's been going very well. And our next product after this will be an LSD. It's a native LSD thanks to the large ETH holding in the Mental treasury. So the Mental treasury currently sits about $3.45 billion. It's the largest on-chain treasury in the world, especially when you discount native tokens. So we have the largest ETH holding and stablecoin holdings in any on-chain treasuries. Everyone is working very hard toward the mainnet launch, which is expected pretty much just seeing early Q3. We really think we will be able to cause a sea change in the blockchain space, especially in the L2 space. Very happy to be here.
That is amazing. Thank you for the intro. And I would like to share my screen so everyone could find our event poster over here at S official Twitter handle. If you have not found this, be sure to go there, follow, take 3 friends, also retweet and join our live stream session. 5 best questions in the comments could share this 100 BUSD. So friends, don't forget to post your best questions in the comments. And first, you need to find this poster through S official Twitter handle. It's very easy to find, and I also just retweeted to my personal Twitter handle as well. So friends, don't miss the opportunity, as well as let's learn together from these 4 amazing projects today, including S, our 1inch Network, Proximity Labs or NEAR, right, and Mental. Amazing. Then let's start from our very first question over here. Okay, I'm going to follow the questions that we have on the list as well as the order. And first, we'd like to ask Taylor from S. We know that S is planning to upgrade to version number 2, right? What are there any more information that you would like to share with us? Any upgrading, like products or UIs or anything that the users can have? Thank you.
Yeah, so basically what StepOS is going to do the second half of the year in version 2 is we're going to launch our mini platform program. So our mini program platform, basically, which is, it's a mini program platform that's on mobile phones that kind of brings a Web 2 similar user experience to dApp, right? So at StepOS, what we want to do is make things as user-friendly as possible, and it doesn't get as much user-friendly as the current Web 2, right? If we want to onboard the current, Web 2 users onto Web 3, it's going to take better user experience. It's going to take what people are used to. And so what we're doing is we are going to launch a mini program platform. And basically what this entails is we want to get rid of recovery phrases, easier to use administration management methods, such as resetting via device and email login. So this is what what current Web2 users are used to, right? It's something that people are like my mother, my father, my grandparents, they can do these things. But in order for them to get onto Web3, it's going to have to be a better, user experience. And then also it entails a unified account. So users do not need to pay attention to the details of the public chain. Users only need to know the total number of assets without paying attention to the chain, where they are located, and the combined payments can be easily realized. And so also part of this is, the dApp decentralized apps interaction. So when interacting with the dApps, client users will no longer be burdened with gas payment, asset bridging, approval, and other complicated contract interaction steps. So yeah, we're looking forward to the second half of the year, and we're excited to launch the mini program platform because, I like myself, the easier that we can make this industry, the more users we're going to have. If we want to have a billion users, it's going to take, more steps to get to make it easier to get more people onto Web3. So yeah, looking forward to the second half of the year, and stay tuned for the mini program. So thank you.
That is amazing. Thank you so much. Make it easier for the users to access to your products. And this is always good because a lot of times, right, people are afraid of entering into Web3 because it's so hard to start with. And next, we also have a question to our guest speaker from Mento over here. Janice, right? If I pronounce your name wrongly, be sure to correct me. Thank you. And we would like to know that Mental Network is preparing for the mainnet launch, as you just mentioned earlier during the intro. But unlike other Ethereum layer 2s that we already see today, Mental is actually doing something different, right? Could you please share more details how it is different from other layer 2 solutions? Thank you.
Thanks for the question. Yeah, so one thing that we're doing quite differently, and this is something that you don't really see in L2, there's only Celestia that's doing it in L1 space, is that we make the chain completely modular. So, tasks a blockchain performs, you have consensus, you have finality of execution, you have data availability. In case of, like a monolithic chain, such as, Ethereum pre-merge or, Solana, which still is a monolithic chain, which means all those functions are down in the same block space. And then especially when you have kind of like a high activity congested network, everyone is competing for the same block space, and then that also causes gas fees to skyrocket, and then you have like a problem with throughput, problem with executing a certain function. Whereas we decided, we're going to put everything in a separate layer. So we use Ethereum for consensus and finality. We use our Mental own chain as a layer 2 as Ethereum rollup for execution. And we work with EigenLayer, so native solution called EigenDA for data availability. So EigenLayer is a restaking protocol built on Ethereum. It's pretty famous. They are one of the darlings of the Ethereum developer community at the moment because they are really allowing staked ETH and other restaked so like ETH LSDs and others to have full functionality. Basically, as an ETH staker, you can stake your staked ETH on the EigenLayer protocol, and then you can build things on top of that, which help in both ways. So people who are building new dApps or chains, when they build on EigenLayer, they are able to bootstrap security and rent security from the Ethereum validator community, whereas Ethereum validators, they can earn multiple staking rewards by restaking their staked ETH. And we're working with them on data availability. So Ethereum itself, even though it's a great tool, it's not a special made tool for data availability. And when you are using basically Ethereum along with everything else for data availability, it kind of like incurs huge costs. So even now, for the large part, the gas fee incurred by layer 2 protocols mostly happen on layer 1. So when you look at like layer 2 fees, it's basically uniform across the board. It doesn't matter which layer 2 you're using, you're basically spending the same amount of money when it comes to layer 2 transactions. But what's costing them is when you need to retrieve and publish data back onto layer 1 when you roll up to layer 1. When we use EigenDA, which is already sort of like in our testnet, we are looking at 70% to 90% of gas fee reduction. it also is just more elegant way of data availability because it's a purpose-built specialized layer. So yeah, we really think, if you're gonna kind of like really cause mass adoption and really make the experience seamless and then truly scalable, there's no kind of hard limit bottleneck when it comes to usability. This is something that we are actively addressing with modularity and with a special made data availability layer.
That is amazing. Wow. Seems like, yeah, all the projects are working really, really hard to improve what we have currently, right? And make it more usability and also make more people can participate in Web3 as well. And next question, we would also like to bring to our guest speaker, Bowen from Near and Proximity Labs over here. And the question for you is that we also saw the launch of the BOS, right? BOS, and or the blockchain operating system. What exactly is that for brand new friends who are not familiar with this? And also, what does this mean for Near? Thank you.
Cool. Thank you for the question. And it's a great question. So basically, BOS stands for Blockchain Operating System, right? The reason that we built that is it's just one of the functionalities that can be only built on Near, and then we see that as one of the pathway to achieve what everyone is here to build, onboard more Web2 users or more general purpose users onto Web3 applications. Right? So basically, blockchain operating system is a front end. The most important part of it is the front end stack of all applications. Wherever these applications are located or situated on whichever the blockchain it is, it can be an application on, for example, zkSync, Mantle, zkEVM, or Arbitrum, any protocols out there, or even like Aptos, Sui, Cosmos. Those applications can deploy their front end code, fully open sourced, and deploy them on Near protocol. And what it does is, first of all, it's brings access point, and also because those applications have deploy their front end code on the blockchain, it becomes more censorship resistant, right? And more decentralized in a way. And most importantly, because all this front end applications, front end of the applications are deployed on Near, then they can start to communicate with each other, right? So, for example, before we have it's I think it's a similar approach to what DAppOS is building towards. DAppOS is more of a mobile version of that, and Near is building a blockchain that is Near has a blockchain that's specialized for that. It brings all this components and components are all these applications that deploy the front end codes on Near. They can compile each other with each other in a single unified UI with one single wallet signing. So, for example, you can sign in with your MetaMask account and into the gateway, the entry point, the UI, and you can access all the applications that are being compiled in this UI, right? So, for example, you can go to a website, and this website has Uniswap, Aave, GMX, different other bridges, QuickSwap or Trader Joe, that has different purposes. And before you need to go onto their applications as sign in multiple times and find the right applications. Right now, those components, since it's being deployed either by the project or the community, and also open sourced, everyone can just take them away and compile into their own and to building their own user experience, and it will change user journey, right? Before it's application to application. Now, you don't need to go into different application in a single ecosystem anymore. They just go into the ecosystem, for example, on the ecosystem page, and that ecosystem page has all this lending protocol out there, money protocol, money market out there, AMM out there, order book out there, perps out there, and you can access on the point, right, on the URL itself. And one of the example is Near has already transitioned the official website near.org into a gateway, and right now, like just to demonstrate its power, you can already go into near.org and in the top left hand search bar, you can search for, like, for example, 1inch component. You can search for Uniswap, you can search for SyncSwap, and you can search for like QuickSwap, and all these components are out there, and you can access all these applications on near.org itself without leaving this whole website. And that's one of the user journey that we're creating, and it's basically like an operating system, right? And everyone can deploy their applications, and everyone can use their applications, and yeah, that's what we're doing.
That is amazing. Like a platform with access to a lot of different places, right? A lot of different protocols. Wow. Looking forward to being able to use it pretty soon as well. And since it's recently just launched, right? BOS, our boss, right? The blockchain operating system. So friends, if you are not familiar with this system, be sure to check out Near's official Twitter handle. And later, also welcome all of our guest speaker to share your screen, to share your websites or your products, Twitter handles, so our audience can give you a follow. So far, we have over 2,000 views already, and our program is also being featured on the front page of Binance Live, which means that we are doing very well. And thank you so much, everyone, for your support. Next, we would like to bring my phone to Idozie. We do relations from 1inch Network. And this is the question for you. We know that 1inch wallet launched a hardware wallet that leverages DeFi DNA to offer users an easy to use crypto wallet with a very smart feature set. Could you please share more about this product? Thank you.
Yeah, sure. So the 1inch hardware wallet is one of our long-standing innovations that we've been trying to push in the wallet scenario, and we understand that fundamentally wallets are basically the gateway to any asset in crypto. So for the moment, account abstraction, like Taylor was mentioning, is still not there yet in fruition fully. So mainly people are using non-custodial wallets as standard, and hardware wallets is one of the main things that we're looking to kick off with. The key differences that we have is that we're open source and fully accessible from not just the software perspective, but also the hardware perspective. And it's coming very soon. We invite any other developers to just join up and sign up online. Go to our website and you can search about our hardware wallet. It's certainly like one of the newest products that we have, that really helps us grow as a decentralized exchange aggregator. Fundamentally, our core focus was on enabling everybody to swap as many assets as they want to between EVMs with minimal fees. We recently signed up quite a few different types of products that we've built, one of which is like enabling gasless functionality, so we can have gasless trading, especially good for PMMs or market makers. And in this scenario, we really want to help anyone who has access to crypto just get the lowest prices for any swaps that they're trading with, whether they're retail traders or if you're just wanting to get into crypto more professionally. 1inch has certainly got the types of APIs and functionality that you need.
That is brilliant. When I hear gasless, it's definitely attractive, right? For a lot of our audience listening to our program today. And I'm going to quickly share our screen over here to show everyone that yes, we are featured over here front page of Binance Live and on very, very top of the page. So yeah, friends, thank you all very much for supporting this program. And also all of our guest speakers later, feel free to also click on the present button. Done to our studio over here, and then you can also share screen of the website or your Twitter handles that you would like to let the audience take a look, because the beauty of Binance Live is unlike Twitter Space, we can only hear the guest speakers their voice, right? But we could not really see the products. However, over here on Binance Live, we could also look at your websites or your products if you just share the screen, and it's really, really convenient. Okay, let's continue to our next session over here. We have our discussion topics related to today's main points over here. We wanted to learn about Web3 infrastructure development in 2023. So the first question over here is, one of the biggest dilemmas currently facing Web3 infrastructure development is the lack of interoperability and standardization. Right? What are your thoughts on how to address these two issues? We are going to follow our poster's order. Okay, let's bring the question to Taylor, head of community from S. Thank you.
Awesome. So yeah, first and foremost, I think that collaboration and cooperation is one of the most important things on how to address this issue. So I think, Web3 developers, communities, and organizations should actively strive to collaborate and cooperate to define and implement, interoperability standards. So to put it simply, take more time to explore the projects. Find the projects that make the most sense to you, learn about them, ask questions, discuss how a possible collaboration could happen. At the end of the day, we're all building towards a similar goal, right? So if we want to build an ecosystem, we want to, get out of this bear market, it's going to take collaboration and cooperation. So let's say to give an analogy, let's say I was a contractor, right? And I was planning to build a house. I'm not capable of building a house by myself. Maybe let's say I'm the best stonemason, or maybe I am an architect, who knows? But basically, in order to complete the house, I'm going to need to collaborate with other people, right? I'm not able to build a house myself. So that's the way I like to look at collaborations in Web3. I can do my thing, I have my project, but in order to build a whole ecosystem, in order to bring the billions of users onto Web3, it's going to take all of us coming together with one idea, one goal, which is building a house, right? So yeah, I think that's why collaboration and cooperation is key, to Web3 infrastructure development. So.
Nice. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts, Taylor. And we would also like to bring the same question to Idoze from 1inch Network, and he's a developer relations over here. The question is, we know that there are two issues, right? Lack of interoperability and sterilization. What are your thoughts on how to tackle on these two issues? Thank you.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is standardization in terms of just technical feasibility, right? We have many different types of networks, many different types of chains, and these are creating multiple scenarios in terms of data availability, in terms of consensus, and Mantle Network is just coming out of that, because in the sense you want to create modular networks because there's such a clutter in different types of other networks on blockchain. So just generally, there needs to be a consensus for standardization. And I think this means that from a technical feasibility, you want to have a good coding language, which is very accessible for people to understand. Right? You've seen that with Aptos and Sui, they started creating Move language, which is a new language people have to learn. And Near, when Proximity Labs has been with Rust for a while, and then they've transitioned onto JavaScript really. But generally, you want to be able to have a language which is very accessible for everybody to build upon, and something that is standardized for people to use. So in this case, right, this is something that I think from a feasibility that would help a lot in terms of building out. But interoperability comes with great collaborations and a consensus across multiple companies. So this is something that takes a little bit of time. We've seen that the greatest interoperabilities that are in the current tech space, like for example HTML and JavaScript, where you can write one website and it works everywhere. This is because you've got W3C, the Web3 consortium, and these consortiums end up having rules and regulations which allow people to end up monitoring the website. So this is the kind of thing that we need. It's a collaborative effort. It's not something that's done in one day. We're neither was built in one day either. So something that we'll need a lot of groups of people and companies and entities in order to collaborate to get towards that. So yeah.
Very nice. Yeah, I like to hear like our guest speakers share like thoughts from your from your role, right? Because we have company managers, head of company over here. We also have engineer over here. I also have co-founders and partnerships. So from business women's viewpoints to talk about the same issue, that is really interesting. And like to learn more from each of you. So next, we would like to invite Bowen, the co-founder of Proximity Labs, and also representing Near over here to talk about this issue. We know that Web3 infrastructure development is facing two issues, right? Like interoperability and standardization. What do you think could solve these two problems? Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I pretty much agree with previous speakers on the perspective of interoperability and standardization. And it's absolutely right. Like Near actually suffered quite a bit as a non-EVM chain, and like people coding Solidity, and where like we still see most of the DeFi innovation coming out from Ethereum mainnet, right? Although Ethereum mainnet is still like pretty much like congested and expensive, but like for Near, from what we're doing is actually like we wanted to keep the core advantage of Near protocol, which is like it's a sharded network, and in theory it can scale like scale like horizontally and in like into that 100,000s or 1 million transactions, right? And it has one of the fastest transaction finality in the market, 1 to 2 seconds transaction finality, and it's a account based and system, and with sort of like account abstraction built in. There's still like there's more to like talk about as Near at the protocol, right? But I think so. As Proximity, as like the party that's like touching the market quite a bit, there's a few things to overcome this kind of problems. That there's a few things that we've been doing, right? One is like onboarding more applications onto Near and bringing their community and awareness onto Near, and onboarding bridges that in turn like so for example layer 0, wormhole and multi-chain for them to have like cross bridge messagings to allow like tokens and messaging transfers between Near and the EVM network. And we at Proximity we have built the MetaMask support into the Near protocol. So like people can actually use MetaMask in the non-EVM environment on Near. And recently that we launched BOSS blockchain operating system. That's basically a chain agnostic layer infrastructure solutions, right? That is instead of like building your own ecosystem, instead of like focusing on the ecosystem and trying to get everyone into it, and like with very high user cost or dev cost to come to the non-EVM environment, we're opening up the network and trying to work with everyone to improve on like user onboarding, right? That's the core essence of blockchain operating system. And so what we're doing, like we're actually collaborating with everyone that's on the panel today. Like for example, you see if you go to 1inch protocol Twitter, they have retweeted a component that's built on BOSS and 1inch component, and people can directly access 1inch on near.org, right? And we are working with Andy and Alex at DevOS about maybe like collaborating on the BOSS front end and incorporate BOSS front end into the DevOS as well, right? And we're working with Mental on talking to Sophia around like how we can use BOSS components and to help newer ecosystems to have a single unified ecosystem entry point for those users to learn, like quickly learn and into one UI to learn all these new applications in these ecosystems, right? That's what BOSS is doing, and so our focus is like there is interoperability that you can do on the back end. with like network itself and also cross-chain messaging itself. But there's also usability, usability interoperability on the network level that Near can do, right? To address to lower down the user barrier, and for each of the front-end application front ends to coexist in a single place, and users don't need to like with rising of layer 1s and layer 2s and different applications in different layer 1s and layer 2s, there's probably like thousands and tens of thousands of applications out there. What is the application that users been looking for? Users should be looking for, and in the new as more ecosystem and as more protocol arises, and Boss helps to solve that problem. Like you discover everything, access everything, try out everything in the one place, and then you expand your user loyalty and build your user loyalty into the right project, right? And yes.
That is very interesting. Thank you, Bowen. Thank you so much for sharing what Near does, right, to connect all the projects, and especially all the projects that are here, right, participating in our live streaming session over here today. It's amazing, and thank you. We would also like to bring the same question to our next guest speaker, head of partnership from Mental, Igneous, right over here. We would like to ask you. We know Web3 infrastructure domains like the two problems, right? Is interoperability and serialization. So, what would Mental do to address these two issues? Thank you.
Thank you. I think Tyler and Edozi and Bowen have covered everything so eloquently and waxed poetically about so much. I would rather take a contrarian view from the premise. I think Web3 in terms of like how we've been doing, like the track record, we've been pretty solid when it comes to really kind of going for interoperability and standardization. When you look at kind of Web2, basically everyone is building silos and then try to kind of like carve out their own niche and then just compete with one another. Famously, this YouTube's sort of UI designer talked about kind of like they're competing with Facebook and Twitter and sleep for attention span, because the time you spend sleeping is not the time you're spending on YouTube, something like that. I think in a way, like in our space, everyone works with one another, especially kind of like in this kind of like more bearish times. Hopefully we're gonna get into bullish times soon, but all the layer 2s that I know of, like we are all talking to one another. Like we're pretty close with Arbitrum. We are working on a optimistic stack. We talk to ZK Sync. We talk to Scroll. We talk to Polygon, ZK EVM, and POS all the time. And yeah, like Bowen said, we're like having conversations with Near too, and it just feels like in a way we are already leagues and miles ahead when it comes to kind of like the traditional space. Yeah, and the code base, especially nowadays, is all open source anyway, so you can fork another person's protocol if you find it to be likable. So we have already made a lot of progress vis-a-vis the incumbents, the old guard. There's definitely a lot of room for improvement. This is sort of like something that we are trying to do. We're sort of like when we enter into a conversation with any potential collaborator, we always go in with the idea that we not only want it to be a win for us, we want it to be a win for them, because if you just kind of have a one-off thing that's transactional, whereas if we can have a deep-seated impactful relationship, partnership, it could last for many cycles. That would be really ideal. And I think building on Ethereum as a layer 2, that also kind of like is part of the philosophy as well, because Ethereum simply has the largest developer community, and it has the largest kind of like capital pool among all smart contract platform. That's just a fact. We really think some of the things that the layer 1's doing are really great. We like a lot of things Nia is doing. We like a lot of things Celestia is doing, but we think ultimately, Ethereum has the unvarnished largest developer community. It has kind of like the largest kind of like hive mind in a way. So building Ethereum really allows us to kind of tap into that resource and also just contribute back to the developer community. One thing that I just really admire what our DevRel team is doing. They're basically like doing like 3 or 4 hackathons every month. They live. They're technically based in North America, like in New York or Canada, but like it's like they spend like 4 days there every month, whereas they're just spending all the time like on the road and going to all those hackathons, supporting developers, at ETH events, at ETH global events. And we have, a grants program that is super generous. And like when we kind of like encourage devs to apply for that grants program, we also kind of like, once they do it, it's not just a one-way process. We are actually actively assisting them. So one thing, it's feedback that we consistently get is that Mentor definitely has the best kind of like supporting program for anyone who is building. I think this is really just kind of like doesn't matter how much resources you command. It's really important to be humble and just seek out ways that you can be helpful to others, and that way you would really just invite more people into building on your platform. I think in a way that what I just said, we also don't mind people kind of like go from one platform to another. I think in a way it's kind of like Web2 is all about keeping their users where they are, and they are so precious about that. They're so afraid of like letting anyone to go to other platforms. I think that's one of the reasons why some of the efforts to kind of bridge Web2 and Web3 by kind of like tokenizing the credits, the points people have accumulated in Web2 apps, or encouraging them to create a wallet, that hasn't been that successful, because like Web2 companies, they will never give up their user base. Whereas Web3 is like, if someone finds other people's stuff better, they can just, it's very fluid, and capital is oftentimes very mercenary as well. So in a way, it's kind of like you never hope for a permanent kind of like position of user base kind of like just installed in on your platform, whereas it's just, you just need to constantly improve and constantly kind of like listen to what people want and work with all sorts of people and try to be helpful. I think is really something that we have found to be super useful in our testnet phase, as well as our growth.
That is amazing. Thank you so much, Igneous, for sharing the things that Mentor is doing. Right? Very, very helpful resources. And later, would you like to also share if there are any websites or web pages that people could apply for the grant? So, because we are lecturing over here on Binance Live, and we have a lot of audience. They are developers, or they are building projects by themselves as well, and definitely would like to learn more about this. And to all of our guest speakers later, if you would like to share your websites or any social media platforms, be sure to just feel free to click on the present button, and then the webpage will appear on the screen over here. Thank you. And next, we're going to go to our following question over here. The time is, wow, it's already 9:53. Going so fast, but well, we will definitely wanted to finish all the questions today. We would like to ask each of our guest speakers what would be your ideal Web3 infrastructure landscape look like. And first, we're going to bring the question to Taylor, the head of community from DAppleS. Thank you.
Awesome. So user experience, right? So speaking for myself and speaking for DAppleS as well, I do think the ideal Web3 infrastructure would prioritize user experience. So making it accessible, intuitive, and even seamless for individuals to interact with dApps and services. So basically, like I've mentioned before, in order to bring 1 billion users into Web3, right, the user experience needs to be at the forefront of the discussion. Let's say, my parents and grandparents, like I mentioned earlier, if I really want my parents and grandparents, because they're going to be part of the 1 billion users, right? So if I want to start using Web3 tomorrow, right now, I don't think the majority of projects currently out there are user-friendly enough for, Web2 users to even think about using. It's just simply too complicated. So I think alongside user experience is also privacy and security. I think oftentimes, in the rush of things, as everyone's developing, in a bear market, people are really pushing, really developing. A lot of times we overlook, privacy and security, where at times, if we want those people to join, Web3, we can't forget about privacy and security, because people are trusting, they're trusting this new thing. Web3 is new to a lot of people. So in order to trust Web3, I think privacy and security has to be one of those things alongside of user experience. So yeah, I think that is my, ideal Web3 infrastructure landscape.
Thank you so much, Taylor. Privacy, security, and user experience definitely need to be good to attract more people and easier to use, right? Like Devils is very, very working hard to solve those issues to attract more people. Thank you. And next, we're going to bring the same question to Idozie, the developer relations from 1inch Network. Also talk about what would be your ideal Web3 infrastructure landscape look like. Thank you.
Yeah, I think I have like 4 pillars of things that I would consider really good for an ideal, utopian world that we would have for infrastructure. I think the first thing is on developer experience, which I'd certainly say is extremely important. As it is infrastructure, it's what is built upon. Therefore, if you're going to have people building, it needs to be accessible from the SDK, the APIs, the documentation should be very clear and legible. It should be understandable. It should be in like terms of programming languages, which are open for people to use. And in addition to that, there should be easy ways of accessing, tutorials and how-tos, etc. So the infrastructure is easy to get onboarded for beginners to experts to the standard people who built it themselves. The second pillar I would say is the user experience. So this is what Taylor was mentioning. Like, it should be really easy for anyone of any age, demographically agnostic, that they can just log in and use it. So signing transactions should be a thing of the past. This is the ideal world again. It's not really like what's going to happen right now, but the ideal world would be like, okay, you could just click on a certain link and then, wow, you've owned that asset or you've got that NFT. This is kind of utopian in that sense. And then the user experience of sending assets to one another means that it is, abstracting the security that signing transactions should enforce, but you should have high entropy wallets, which means you should have like this kind of interaction with wallets that don't have the security liabilities that many do have. And seed phrases should be abstracted just generally. So, writing down these seed phrases is very long. The third thing I'd say is on financial accessibility. So like on financial accessibility, it would be something to do with how often you're able to pay for this like service, whether it's like on a paper API or the cycles or how many CPU units you're using or whatever you're trying to gauge the financial accessibility for a person to build upon this infrastructure. You can see many other like platforms like maybe Alchemy or a few others who are generally building infrastructure around the case, but they've tried to make it like AWS-like, where you can have this almost like per second per usage. And so this is very good for if you're a developer and building on this infrastructure to create units that will be easy to serve and have a business case because it's low cost, right? And then you can actually build multiple applications easier as like this good infrastructure that you want to have. And then lastly, I would say it should be somewhat a one-stop shop. Right. I mean, this is again, right, to an extent that you don't have to have like so many different fragmented experiences to try and get, where's the wallet provider? How do I get the swaps going? How about rendering dApps applications? Like this one-stop shop would be like very much something that creates that future. Like 1inch is definitely trying to move towards that within the financial region. But again, the ultimate experience for this infrastructure would unify as many as possible. So definitely excited to see all 4 of those implemented soon in the future.
Thank you so much, Idozie, for sharing the information with us. And seems like one-stop shop will be a lot of products' ultimate goal, right? And also clear and easy to understanding structures, as well as easy to access platforms for all the users from around the world. Thank you. And next, we're going to bring the question to Bowen, co-founder of Proximity Labs, and also represent Near over here to talk about what would be your ideal Web3 infrastructure landscape look like. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you. I think Yeah, that's a very big question. But from my perspective, I think looking at the infrastructure, and if we were to break down into different tiers, like first tier is the tier one or the most basis or layer zero infrastructure that is like blockchain technology and not infrastructure. On this part, I think what I would like to see is like it's good to have different like layer twos and layer ones, right? But if everyone is trying to like create a alternative solution with like very minimal alternation from the previous solution and not to building its business identity and trying to focus on this one area they wanted to focus on, it will create more noises, right? And it will be more distracting for users to see like what kind of solution they should be really going towards, right? So for example, like you like what is the reason like for Alice, for example, to like stick with Arbitron instead of ZK or Optimism, right? Right now the solution, the situation, like the answer, I would say like probably the answer I see is right now is money, right? Where people makes most interesting money, like the best money, and this with some like best money making protocols, and they can stick with this. But what is the identity, right? Of different layer ones and layer twos are building towards, and how such that it will be a positive sum for all this layer two to coexist and to start building towards a bigger goal, right? And actually working together to like work on user experience and working on improving middle layer, and middle layer is the second point I like I see as a critical point. And in terms of middle layer, there's like cross-chain communication and cross-chain messaging protocol. This will be more important. Like I wanted to see more of this bridging solutions, like Uniswap has done one of the bridging solution evaluation like a few days ago or a few weeks ago, right? And I think bridging is quite important, and yes, and adoption of maybe I would like to see more creative or like bridging solution to be built more integrated into different applications and allow like higher mobility of assets and messaging passing between different protocols, right? And pretty much like the third tier is like on the other developments on top of blockchains, right? Developer toolings and sort of like the out-of-box tools on the front end and back end to improve on dev experience and user experience. That's a part I think many of the protocol already working on, right? DAppOS is working on and DAppOS is working on like one integrated place for those applications in the mini program to like to access all these applications. And OneEach is like trying to have one-stop place for users to not going to other places, but just to go into OneEach to experience the best like price codings, right? And near or proximity, we are working on like just on the front end, right? One of the initiative is working on the front end and with via the blockchain operating system, such that like we can work with different protocols applications for them to build access point, and those access point can be picked up by different service providers, and different service providers can compile different applications and build towards a one DeFi one-stop shop, maybe a decentralized Binance version, such that like users can like access all DeFi functionalities, but without knowing, right, what protocols they're using, and users just care about like the end price, right, and financial result they're getting, right, yeah, and we were also working with like Mental on like and other new coming layer ones, layer twos, for them to have a like low entry point for users to learn about their protocol, and in a shorter period of time for users to like in the fastest way for the user to learn about their ecosystem and the competitive advantage of the ecosystem, and like build their understanding of the ecosystem such that they will stay for a purpose. Right? So yes, that's maybe the 3 parts I'm seeing.
I see. Thank you so much, Bowen, for answering the question about your ideal Web3 infrastructure landscape will be look like. And yeah, this is definitely a big question, right? And hopefully pretty soon we could reach all of our goals as well. And next we are going to bring my phone to Igneous, our head of partnership from Mento, to also talk about this question. What does your ideal Web3 infrastructure landscape look like? Thank you.
Thank you. First, I'll preface this by saying all of the above. But I think, from a UI user experience point of view, like in a previous life, I used to help sell cars. I was working for Ford Motor Company. We talk about quality is something that it only becomes apparent, or only becomes something that needs to be talked about when it's absent. Right? I think, from a user point of view, everything should just work. Right? So the ideal scenario for like infrastructure is that just kind of like users don't even feel it, right? So the internet is built on the protocol of TCP/IP. Emails, we use emails every day. Email is built on 3 protocols. There's SMTP, there's POP, and IMAP, right? Like, do we think about them? No. If I didn't bring them up, you wouldn't even think about them. I think that should be the same for Web3 and for like blockchain. That those of us who are actually building the infrastructure, we just build it so well that anyone who come along to build the killer app, they can just build on top of it, and the users can only experience the app themselves. They don't need to worry about what the platform does. So in a way, like recently, Apple released the Vision Pro. Everyone was like, oh, like it does look cool, but like it's not bringing any groundbreaking innovations, which we shouldn't have expected, because when we actually think about it, when the first iPhone actually came along, it didn't really bring anything that we wasn't already able to do. It was like, able to send messages and emails. We were able to do that before. But once you have that platform, and then you have a developer community start to build on it, now we have on-demand video, we have on-demand food, we can, have on-demand mobility in the form of, Netflix, Uber Eats, Grab, so on and so forth. So in a way, we should just kind of like help build the infrastructure so well that we can invite, the Web3 version of all of the above on, and to build the killer app, so that, users, they don't need to even think about infrastructure anymore. To quote this Roman grammarian of the ancient Latin language, a favorite of mine, Quintilianus, he said, the art lies in to conceal art. So in a way, it's like, what is more artful is that people don't even notice your brush strokes. Basically, it's just a beautiful piece of landscape. In a way, we should also be striving towards that. We can keep our conversation about how to do tooling, how to do infrastructure amongst ourselves, whereas from a user point of view, they don't even need to think of any of that.
It is really brilliant to using iPhone as an example, right? So that our audience are easy to understand, like also relate to that and envision of a bright future. That is great. And last, we are going to talk about a very, very last question over here. Well, we all know it is bear market. But despite the current market situation, Web3 infrastructure projects continue to attract funding from different investors. So we would like to ask our guest speaker, what do you think are the advantages of building Web3 infrastructure in the bear market? Why would your project still attract a lot of investment? And especially we know that Dapple has recently just received funds from Binance Labs, right? So we are going to bring the question first to Taylor, head of community from Dapple. Thank you.
Yeah. First of all, to speak on behalf of DAppOS, the first thing I want to talk about, keep it short because I know we don't have a lot of time, but more collaboration opportunities, right? So it's like in a bear market, there's less competition, right? So you can get to know other projects on more of a personal level, where it's like the top of the bull market, people are in the rush of everything, and so it's there's more competition. It's maybe harder to make these collaborations. Where right now in a bear market, we're able to have these personal collaborations, get to know people, attend events, and it's I feel like it's more of a personal experience. I think alongside collaboration and maybe there's lower competition, the other thing would be cost, right? So in a bear market, so less competition for resources, including talent, capital, and infrastructure, which can lead to lower costs for development, marketing, or operational expenses. So I think the two things I wanted to cover on would be competition, lower competition, and then the cost can be lower as well in the bear market. So it's a good time for, to get more investors' eyes on you and to collaborate with other projects that maybe you wouldn't be able to collaborate at the top of a bull market. So
That is exactly true, especially not a lot of projects are still keep building at this moment. So it's also very easy to spot good projects in the bear market. Thank you for sharing your views. And next, we are going to invite Idozie, the developer relations from OneEdge Network, to also share about your views. What do you think of the advantage of building Web3 infrastructure in the bear market? Thank you.
Yeah, I think there's a strong advantage in terms of competitive landscape. You don't have as many opponents to have to face in your own area. And just the second point is that there's actually a lot of innovation that can come out of it. And there's a lot of these great sayings about how when there's riots in the streets, it's when you need to start building. And innovate, necessity is a mother of innovation. This is really true, right? When times get hard, you really will start to build out naturally great solutions which are effective. And the bull market creates a lot of inflation and a lot of different kinds of projects which don't really have too much utility. And this is, a natural cause of just, a speculative market. But despite that bear markets, you're really looking at necessities. You're trying to gather as much food to eat, essentially, right? You're not trying to, excessively spend and just create arbitrary products. So that's one thing I think that is the advantage of building a Web3 bear market. But the biggest thing is that just from examples, right? Some of the greatest projects out there have been built in a bear market. And Aave is one, OpenSea, and also Uniswap, right? I mean, this is like a great example of where some of the best projects who persisted over time, they were going through the bear market, or even inception was in the bear market. And so at that point, you can see that a lot will happen in terms of like prosperity if you can just power through the bear market and let the market decide if what your product has is good for the market. And then you'll start to see some good propositions and hopefully some demand and revenue.
Exactly. And also to our audience who are still staying here in Web3, no matter it's bear or bull, right? Keep building, keep strong, and keep growing. So we are going to survive this, and then we're going to be very, very strong when the bull is back. And next, we're going to bring the same question to Bowen, the co-founder of Proximity Labs, to answer this question. What do you think would be the advantages of building Web3 infrastructure in this bear market? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, first of all, congratulations to the DAppOS team. It's a very critical point, critical milestones to win Binance. To any developers right here, if you can build your way to be acknowledged by Binance, do so. It solves a lot of problem for you in the Web3 space. But jokes aside, I think building in a bear market has a lot of advantages, right? If you look at the panel today, OneEdge actually started from a hackathon project, right, and built towards the size today. And you see that Mental runs 3 hackathons a month, right? And if you in the bear market, what I like is people when been attending hackathons, different hackathons, and like I've been seeing DAppOS in multiple hackathons, hack events, and it's really these projects that focus on solving the market problems and try to collaborate and work on different new initiatives via those hackathons and via communication, via like listening to the market, looking at what are the new things that other hackers are building, and building from first principle of like what the market needs, right? And what the problem you're solving. So in the bull market, in country, like people just chasing fund or chasing the hype, right? That does not work, and that's very short term. And you can probably make a bit of money, but you probably get like busted by some sort of like, I don't know, if you make such amount of money and you cannot manage it properly, like you still go down here, right? So focus on the product ideas and market problems you're solving. And in the bear market, there's no rush, and stay focused. Listen to the market, talk with other builders, attend different hackathons, and just keep building, and you'll find your way.
Exactly, keep building, right? And definitely, well, we will be seen by all the other investors in Web3 to then to know that it's still growing strong even though it is bear market. And next, we're going to bring the same question to Igneous, the over here is head of partnership from Mental, and would like to ask you, what do you think are the advantages of building Web3 infrastructure in the bear market? Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. I think we just really like to echo what everyone said. Like bear market is actually, it's perfect for building. Actually, like it's a cliche, but it's actually true. Like most people who are passionate about it, they really are in it for the tech. Contrary to what people think as just a coping method. Like people really are in it for the tech. And when you actually go to hackathons and go to kind of like the ETH global events, you can barely tell it's a bear market. It's like everyone is so hyped and so enthusiastic, and I think these are the times you really kind of like, if you're ever in doubt, if you ever kind of like wonder, is like our effort on the right path? You just need to go to attend a hackathon event, or like go to a hacker house, where you have kind of like developers who would basically just congregate, and then they would just like hang out all day long. They would talk, and just the amount of enthusiasm, the amount of like ideas that is being thrown around. It's just it's almost infectious. You just feel the energy that is vibrating in the room. I think in a way it's like bear market really allows you to be more deliberate in decision making, and to take the time and to really kind of like conserve the capital as well, because like in a bullish market it almost feels like everyone is stamping upon one another's shoulders, try to sort of like get to something, and then a lot of times you kind of like you rush your due diligence and all that. When we work with like hackathon teams and all that, now we have an abundance of time. We get to kind of like judge all those submissions with as much patience, with as much time as we need, and we always follow up with them after the event to see how we can help them, how we can support them, how we can encourage them to continue building. It's just kind of like almost, it feels like in bear market time is dilated. It's like you're experiencing time at a different speed. Of course, like every one of us in our market, because the fast moving nature of it, because of the 24/7 nature of it, it does feel like we are aging much quicker than other people. But during bear market, almost like we are living in a different space time, where time is dilated. We have more time to do things properly. Famously, like some of the biggest kind of like implosions in the space were basically when people try to scale really fast and then they sidestepped or just like overlooked proper due diligence and did not do things the right way. Whereas now, for a little while longer, hopefully, we actually have the luxury to do things properly, which I think we will thank ourselves in months and years to come.
Definitely, yes. We all know that Web3 is moving pretty fast, and it's like spending one day in Web3, like it's like 10 years in the real world, and with a 24/7 phase and nonstop building and working, well, from around the world online, right? It's definitely really intense lifestyle, and hopefully everyone really find time to relax a little bit in this bear market. Well, before we wrap up today's session, do we have any guest speakers that would like to share your websites or your social media handles to our audience? Feel free to share the screen. How about let's start from Taylor? Would you like to do it?
Yeah, so I mean, I just under my name, you can see Twitter @dapos_com. I guess I can pull up the Twitter real quick to see.
Yes, and also,
1 second.
everyone, all the guest speakers, feel free to do it. And
Awesome. Can you guys see it now?
let me see.
Yeah.
Do you click the present button?
I believe so. 1 second.
Do you mind to do it one more time?
Yeah,
present.
let's try one more time.
Yeah, present and then select.
Let me
see.
Interesting. Let's see. For some reason, it doesn't seem to be working for me. But
that's okay. Let me share it because I already pointed out. And once again, friendly reminder: everyone, don't miss this great opportunity to win 100 BSC on top of the non-stop crypto rents that our audience already received during today's live session, because I've been keep dropping crypto boxes to everyone, and we have over 6,500 views. That is great. Yeah, well, we all know it's bear market, right? And friends, there's another chance to receive giveaways. Be sure to follow our guest speakers projects, our Dapples, our 1inch Network, Proximity Labs, and Mento, and then post your best question for a chance to win. Just go to Dapple's official Twitter handle. Thank you. And next, let's see if Idosia, would you like to also share your screen, or Bowen, or
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So our Twitter is really easy to understand. It's @1inch. So you'll just find it really easily. Just type it in and you can get there. If anyone listening is building any product that's related to DeFi and EVM, feel free to reach out to me on my Telegram that's like listed below. It's Dozier Zeko.
I can also help. Yeah, to just go to 1inch.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, 1.4 million followers. That's huge.
Yeah,
yes,
not cool. It's real.
amazing.
So yeah, definitely. Feel free to reach out to me if anyone's building any projects in DeFi and like to expand. Definitely here to support all the developers in DeFi across all the chains that are listed there: Ethereum, BNB, Avalanche, Polygon, Arbitrum, Gnosis, EcoSync, Phantom, Caitlin, Aurora, all. So happy to help on all of those fronts.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. And would like to see if Bowen would like to share your official Twitter handle or your official website.
Sure. Yeah. I'll probably share screen.
And yeah, it is really brilliant to change your nickname as your Telegram handle. super useful. So yeah, our audience could also if they are building some projects, right, and would like to connect, and easy to find you as well. And yeah, this is amazing. We hope that our audience, if you are watching and then would like to connect and build together, be sure to grasp the opportunity. This is really not it won't happen. It not happening every day, right? Okay, I see that Bowen is also sharing your screen right now.
So if you go to near.org today, the most official website for Near, it's actually built as like an accessible DeFi. Well, not DeFi. Sorry, application gateways, right? And for example, you can search for 1 inch here. 1 inch, and there's already 1 inch component here, and you can actually interact with that after signing your MetaMask wallet. I've already signed in, and you can play around with it, or you can go to the developer section and try to view the details and try to fork it, take it, or like Lido. There's also Lido component here, but and you can search for different. Basically, you can search for different Ethereum applications. Some of them will be right here, some of them will be not. But just have fun, and you can stake your ETH right here. So play around with it and try to build your own components. And for example, the 1 inch component was actually built by a developer at a hackathon in Thailand in one night. So it's pretty simple. Just play around with it. I think just work with us together, and the journey of like building towards a better user experience. Okay? And for following, maybe just follow Near Protocol or right here or Proximity, right here. I'm not important. I'm not that active on Twitter, so.
Thank you for sharing all the information with us. That is great. Yes, we definitely encourage all of our audience to give the Guest Speakers Project a follow. And how about Igneous? Would you like to share Mento's website, especially how about the grant application or any social media platforms?
Sure. Let's see if it works.
Yes.
Yeah, this is the Mentor website. I guess we have soon to sort of like the website is already preparing for the mainnet launch, so you can see lots of hints, Easter eggs being dropped around, and Mentor network and LSD is going to be the next major product, and of course, when you scroll to the middle, you can see the treasury. Everything is transparent on chain. And the social handles are down the bottom. Twitter being, I guess, most important. It's just 0xMendo. Grants program. We have 3 tiers up to 100,000, and we also basically just support projects at different stages. We are also currently having a proposal in the making about a mental eco fund that's going to be a $200 million worth of catalyzed capital pool. 100 million is going to come out of the mental treasury, with 100 million coming from external venture partners, the likes of Dragonfly, Pantera, Spartan, Selene. So we have lots of resources to support builders and for the brighter Web3 future.
Wow, this is amazing, everyone. Thank you so much all for spending about an hour and a half with us on Binance Live and Twitter Live, Twitch Live, YouTube Live, across different social media platforms to talk about Web3 infrastructure in 2023. And no matter where you're at, wish you a great rest of the day, or continue your day, or take a break, friends, and feel free to click on the Leaflet Studio button, and we are going to play our ending video to end today's live stream session. We'll also do replay right after this live session. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye, everyone. Thank you all for your time here. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to play the Okay, we're back to our stage. Hey, Dozier, I will reach out to you through your TG. I also have my TG over here. We are, yeah, awesome. Thank you for your time. Oh my goodness, 1inch is definitely amazing.
Yeah, thanks for having me as well. I mean, it was a great session. Are you guys doing this more often? I'd love to be back on.
Yeah. This is actually, I have been live streaming on Bandai for nearly 300 days nonstop. And
wow.
not just do this often, but I do this every day.
I mean, it's like every day that you're doing panels, or is it going to be talks, or what do you do usually?
Yeah, I do panels, or I do one project interview, a single project interview to just focus on one project, and AMA sessions or Web3 gamings. We also have streamers or Web3 gaming projects to come here and introduce their games. It's a combination of everything Web3.
That would be cool because we're working. I mean, personally, I'm working on something separate. Like that's why I mentioned to, I guess it was Jason or someone else in the Telegram group, that there's another protocol that's coming soon for essentially the 1inch for a fiat on ramp. So that's like something I'd love to just chat with the rest of the community about when you have time. Definitely open to getting more in touch with you when you have the time.
Thank you so much, Shidozi, for your time today, and take a break. I know it's a long session, about 90 minutes.
I'll reach out to you later on Telegram, but thanks again for having me.
Bye. See you next time. Thank you.
See you. Bye.
Thank you. Okie dokie, friends. We are going to do our replays. Are you ready? And I'm also going to keep dropping our crypto boxes. We are reaching to 7.8 thousand views, which is amazing considering, well, we know it's bear market, right? But we still have audience over here watching our live session. That is really touching. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm going to say bye to friends who are watching it through YouTube.